Kamloops Alliance, thanks for joining us again as we just take an opportunity to look at the finances again. So thanks for joining in. We talked about finances last week, but we just wanted to take just a little bit deeper of a look where we are, especially as we get closer to the year end, which is June 31st. So where are we at for the month of May for the finances? Well, for the total revenue, we budgeted for $171,000 to come in. We saw $135,000 come in, so we're about $30,000 short of what we were hoping and expecting for the month of May. With that said, the ministry revenue was a little bit shorter as well. But again, that's just really based off of kind of a more of a variable cost than anything else. So we're not too worried about that number. Our total general expenses. Now, that was slated for 146. We were at about 143 for that. But you'll notice really quick, we added an asterisk in there. And that's really important because we've had some conversations and some questions around, hey, what does it mean for year end? And the numbers look so overinflated, and we're going to be at a net loss at the end of the year. Like, where are we all going to be? Part of the budgeting cycle that we did last year was that we actually put the capital expenses as part of the income statement. And so what that means is as we're going through the year, the capital expenditures we're expecting to have are reflecting in the operational budget and skew the numbers a bit. Because normally what happens is an asset is an item over $500 that at the end of the year we actually pull out of the expenses into another category. These are standard accounting type practices. And so what we are trying to do is we're just leaving the assets in here for now so you can have a better idea, more of a cash flow where we're at with the numbers rather than an income statement. So what am I trying to say with all that? That sounded really technical and complicated. All we're saying is we left the purchases of the assets in here so that we can get a better reflection of where the cash flow or how much money is coming in and out of the church. So that's what the capital reserve amounts are for. That's what the asterisks in both the general revenue and the general expenses, okay? So our general expenses, we had budget for 146 and we have 143 that we actually spent. And the total ministry expenses, we have budgeted for 28,000 and we actually pulled 33, almost 34,000 out. So those are kind of the month for the month of May, where we had budget for a $35,000 gain for the month of May. Actually, we saw a $20,000 loss. So big question, where does that land us for the year? For the year, the general revenue was going to be 1.7. We're seeing about $1.5 million coming in for revenue. The total ministry expense or total ministry revenue is about what we expected it to be, about 251, rather 248. The total general expenses, we were expecting 1.6. We're at 1.65 rather, and we're actually at 1.6. Total ministry expenses, where we had budget for 400,000, now we're at in actual about 305. And at the end of the day, how it all nets out at the end of the day is that we had $47,000 loss is what we had budget year to date, and the actual is 119. Now, part of that 47,000 is that we had passed the budget late or further on in the year after we had the board rather had approved the previous budget. That's when some peaks came onto the table, and so that extra cost is something that the board was aware of and that we added to the budget, and so that's why we had an extra budget expense for 47 or a total loss of $47,000 for the year end. So that's a lot of information. And with that said, as we're looking into June, we are expecting June to actually flip. And so we were expecting a bit of a loss for June, but we're now, given some of the circumstances and some of the trends that we're seeing, we're actually hoping to see June come out a little bit stronger than what we were expecting to see. So we expect to see the year a lot lower than that 119 number, but we'll have more information for the time as we get closer into end of June, into July. With that said, church, it is just such a God miracle in our church to see him provide over and over and over again. And so we continue to steward the funds as best as we can to manage them so that we can make the ministry and the gospel of Jesus known. And at the same time, we're just believing that God will provide for our needs as both we're entering into a new season of the capital campaign, but also as ministry continues to happen here at Kamloops Alliance Church. So with that said, thank you for just your continued faithfulness in your giving. where we at with other things and all things concerned finances. So basically, again, the restricted donations, these are the funds that come in and are earmarked for something very specific. Care Connections, so far this year, $23,000. Missional Outreach, church on mission, $120,000 went straight out the door, came in, went out the door, and as it relates to missional work. And then the Capital Reserve, which again is just to keep the lights on or to fix the stairs or fix the carpet or whatever we needed to do. The Capital Reserve Fund, which is there, is $23,000. Beyond All Capital Campaign, really quick update. Right now, our gifts received are just under $800,000. Our pledged but not yet received is $432,000 for a total of $1.231 for the Capital Reserve. So that is or Capital, Beyond All Capital Campaign, rather. So with that all said, church, thank you for your trust. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your love for Jesus and his missional work. And as we do ministry together, we're believing that God will provide where we have needs. So church, thank you, and we will touch base soon.